But the most important story we have today is what airline are you going to be flying on next time you go hunting? So let's go to Barbara Crown and get to the bottom of a very true story. Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Hi, James. I'm well, and you?
Well, tell us this sad story, and the airline will never fly again.
Well, it's really disheartening. You have a subscriber and his wife, Roy and Sally McCoy, from Texas, who went hunting this past fall in Saskatchewan. And Sally killed her very first elk and a caribou. And it's a nice elk, a 350-some point elk. She was very proud of it. And they packed it up carefully, the elk antlers together with the caribou antlers and the caribou hide, and packed it up, paid $100 in excess baggage fees on Northwest Airlines to get her trophy home. Roy had killed a very nice white point. They packed those antlers separately in another box. Altogether, they had 4 pieces of luggage that they had scanned in Saskatoon when they left on Northwest Airlines, flying into Minneapolis-St. Paul. They arrive in Minneapolis-St. Paul, and they're told that the antlers are going to be walked through customs and placed on their flight, and that they don't have to wait, go ahead and get on the plane. So they do that. They get home to Houston, and Roy's whitetail trophy shows up, but Sally's elk and caribou antlers are nowhere to be found. So they file a missing bag claim, and they're told, no problem, they should be here tomorrow. Great. They go home. The next day they come back. They're looking for their missing package, and it doesn't arrive. And the next day it doesn't arrive. So now they're getting a little nervous. They call Northwest's 800 number for their lost baggage department, and they file a report. They get somebody who has Sally on hold for 20 minutes, and he comes back and he says, okay, I found the package. It's sitting on the loading dock in Minneapolis-St. Paul, so you should have it the next day. Wonderful. Next day comes, the next day goes, no antlers. So Sally calls the 800 number back. Unfortunately, she hadn't gotten a name. Let that be a lesson to everyone. Always ask for the person's name. Make sure, whether it's a ticket agent, a counter agent, a supervisor, whoever you talk to on the phone, get their name. She doesn't have a name. The person she speaks to tells her that there's no notation in the file. So now she's back to square one, because now, again, they don't know where the antlers are. So she speaks to Customs in Minneapolis, and the Customs officer informs her that 4 of the 4 bags, all 4 were scanned by Customs from Saskatchewan, but only 3 were scanned in Minneapolis. So one of those bags never made it through Customs in Minneapolis. Okay, so she's on to something now. No one at Northwest can find anything. No one can answer any questions. Day 4 comes around. The outfitter goes to the Saskatoon airport, to the baggage area, and tells them that he's looking for this bag for his client. It's 70 pounds. It's 5 feet long. You can't miss it. They won't let him go into the back to look for that package among the lost luggage or unclaimed luggage that they have there. But they assure him it's not here. Okay, great. So at this point they decide the antlers must have been stolen. So they want to file a police report. They file a police report in Saskatchewan with the Saskatoon Police. Saskatoon Police contact Northwest, and someone at Northwest tells them, oh no, those bags were absolutely scanned in Minneapolis-St. Paul. So now Saskatoon Police cannot help her. Now it's being bounced back to Minneapolis-St. Paul. But Northwest says to her that they were never scanned in Minneapolis-St. Paul, and they can't find the bags. So she's caught in this back and forth where Northwest is not being forthright with exactly what's going on. That she keeps getting conflicting information from them. Finally, she asks them, look, you have a video camera in the baggage area. What do you see on it? What employees were involved in this? Well, now they start circling the wagons. She receives a phone call from, an email from the Central Airlines Service Supervisor, Sherry Smith, who assures her that there's a cross-departmental effort to find their antlers. And she tells her that she cannot give her any information on when the bags were scanned, where they were last scanned, or any information about employee interviews or the video that they have in the baggage area, because it would be against their security protocol, and that information is not available to the general public. Never mind the fact, it's not that she's the general public, she's their customer, she's their client. They have lost her property. They will give her no information. Sally goes so far as to hire a private investigator who reports back that Northwest at every turn did everything they could to obstruct his investigation. So he's come back to her with, they've even gone so far as to threaten to have him arrested if he comes on to Northwest property again. So she's completely frustrated, has gotten absolutely nowhere, and what does Northwest finally do? They wash their hands of her by sending her a check for $1,100, which is a refund for the $100 that they charged her for the excess baggage charge, and then $1,000 to basically make her shut up and go away. That's as much satisfaction as she's gotten out of them.
You know, Barbara, that's totally out of hand. Now we both know that there's a paper trail, number one, from the day that it loaded on an airplane in Canada. Mm-hmm. And as you pointed out, there is video of the baggage area. So unless they're, and the customs people, unless they're involved,
right.
You know, and I don't want to say that, but unless they're involved, a box this size, and I'm guessing that if you've packed an elk trophy away, I mean, this is not a suitcase, this is a big box.
Right. It fit 5 feet long.
Okay,
5-foot long package.
Yeah, 5 feet long, probably weighs, I don't know, I'm going to say 100 pounds. How many?
70 pounds, she
70
said.
pounds, okay. 70 pounds, and all of a sudden they want to settle, pay them off. Now, we are very happy to look into this. But if you contact those folks down there, and I'm sorry again, McCoy, that's Mr. and Mrs. McCoy?
Yes.
If they've cashed a check, it may be too late. If they have not cashed a check, and I would suggest to them that they shouldn't, then we will be glad to help here. We'll make some calls on our own. We'll put our own little research together for this, and we'll see what happened here, because there's obviously more to this story than you and I know at this point, and the whole thing is very fishy. And it's not a fishing story, but it's very fishy, and I think that something's gone wrong here. There's some collusion going on here, and I think we need a better answer to this situation. Have you contacted the McCoys at all yourself?
I have spoken with the McCoys, and they are completely frustrated. At this point, they're going through and claiming a claim with their homeowner's insurance, and their homeowner's insurance is supposed to be sending their own investigator.
Okay.
An airline travel agent that I have worked with very closely and who's very knowledgeable about issues that affect hunters who travel has suggested that they take them to small claims or to civil court and sue them in civil court. I'm usually not a litigious person,